Hello! So today I want to go over another Golden Ox game because I thought it was really fun and really interesting of a game that I want to talk about the opener as well as later in the game. Originally I was going to make a guide. I already made a guide on like openers and that type of stuff on my channel, but I wanted to show a little bit of gameplay in practice and kind of how game plan can kind of evolve throughout the game based on just like high roll and or seeing things that are really strong and understanding like some early game options. The main one I'm going to talk about here is the new Moguls mail item. I say new because people never took it before. Moguls mail is actually a really good item, and a lot of times it can help you to streak and become very rich in a game. So I'm going to talk about it here, and I'm going to show you guys here how that kind of plays out. It is scuttle puddle, so keep that in mind. Rolls and everything are going to be a little bit high roll, like throughout. But either way, if you like my content, make sure to like and subscribe. I do daily TFT guides, and sometimes I'll do VOD reviews like this. I haven't done that many for this set, so I'm doing a couple right now just as I'm getting my footing, trying to make a new updated version of my old item guide that I made from the last set. I just keep procrastinating on it a little bit. I keep saying it's going to come out tomorrow, come out tomorrow, come out tomorrow, and it's been like a week of me saying that. But for sure, it's coming out tomorrow. And I want to also announce tomorrow the dog's coming back. So if you like the dog, rejoice. If you don't like the dog, I'm sorry, the dog's coming back tomorrow. I just have to finish up something. It was a little bit buggy today, otherwise I would have had it in the corner right now. You can see I already have the little square icon just waiting for him to show up. So we'll bring him back tomorrow. But anyways, just opening, holding on to a lot of units. There's some people in Scuttlepuddle that they like to sell their bench and just make an early 10 interest. I'm not the 10 interest enjoyer. I'm the hold every unit enjoyer. I like to just have unit pairs because I like to play around those unit pairs. I think it's a little bit more consistent because usually if you sell too many units, sorry about the black screen, then it becomes a little bit awkward. Here, let's see what we got. So Scuttlepuddle. Everybody can have a lot of gold. I don't have Jhin or Morgana, and I also don't have an early item slam that can generate mana, so I actually don't like memory bank unless I have that and I can kind of streak around it. I see here all that shimmers. All that shimmers is amazing. Marksman Crest is also really good because I already have the Jarvan. I could kind of play like into Vanguard Marksman, but all that shimmers, even though it's Scuttlepuddle, this is gonna help me to streak. It's gonna be extremely important. This is like, maybe I'm wrong. This is what I truly believe. This Moguls mail is fucking broken now. I think it is so strong. I think it is just an instant click, an instant take. If you have a 3-cost tank, I would say either this guy, like Jarvan, is really good, or what's his name? Braum is also really good. Like, if you have one of these two units, or like even some of the other tanks like upgraded, look at this item. Look at this. So I made anima, right? I looked at my items on the side. I saw that I can make anima, which gives me passive healing. Look at this. Ready? I dropped 1 gold, right? This guy has a Graves. You guys know how Graves is broken, right? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Look at that. It's fucking broken. It's so good. It's so insanely good. Right? Am I crazy? Anyways, when you have a unit like this, see, I'm also holding the Braum. I'm basically just trying to tempo early game, right? I don't really care where I end up. We're going to see how it goes later. But basically, Econ and Scuttlepuddle is typically considered not that good because you get a lot of gold anyways from Scuttlepuddle. So getting extra gold from Scuttlepuddle or extra gold from an augment isn't usually as powerful as taking like raw combat or raw power in any way. But the way you should look at this is not that it's just Econ. It's that if you have a slammable tank item and you have a good tank unit, this Moguls mail is so powerful. So I'm actually using it not to just generate gold, but just to win streak all of this stage, which is extremely important because Scuttlepuddle a lot of times can be high variance. So I always want to take something that I know for sure is going to be strong. Watch this Jarvan. Look at this guy. I also have a Slayer, which helps a little bit, of course. Like, I have a really good opener for it. So, like, I not only have Jarvan, I have Vanguard in. Right, I have every single one of the synergies required in to make him pop off. But look at this. I just got dropped 2 gold. Who's going to win? The Jarvan or the Seraphine? No, it's the Jarvan. It's... if you're not playing around this in your early game, you just gotta if you see all that shimmers, I think it's like an instant click if you have a tank unit that you can actually put it on. Obviously, if you don't have a tank unit, it's not going to generate this much value, then don't take it. But I'm using this as a streak, and we're gonna see where it ends up later. So already at this point, obviously there's easy picks, right? I have like a bunch of Vanguards. I can play into Slayer, right? I can play Slayer reroll. I can play Vanguard Slayer. I can play Vanguard Dynamo. I could just play Golden Ox, right? I have a lot of opportunities, right? If I'm thinking about the lowest cap version of those opportunities, it's probably going to be Vanguard Marksman, right? That's like the finish on level 8, not super high roll kind of board. Golden Ox is probably the riskiest, but the strongest board. But I started out with a Graves and a Jarvan. I'm already starting to pump some Golden Ox, right? I leveled to 5 here just to guarantee my win streak, and I'm going to recover my Econ because I have Econ generation and it's Scuttle Puddle. So I'm totally down to just like push the level, make sure that I get an extra synergy in and win. So I had a good Divinicorp to put in, get some more bonuses. This Morgana is going to help do damage over time. You see the Morgana 1 with no items is doing an insane amount of damage. That's just because the fight's lasting forever. So she's getting lots of those ticks off on all the opponent units on their board. But this is a really important note, right? Whenever you're thinking about your early game or whenever you're thinking about, like, you know, what is my spot, what's strong, my playstyle, like what I like to always recommend is to try your best to win streak as much as possible, right? If you have like units, like I was saying before, that you can play, like a Galio is really hard to take down, Mordekaiser sometimes, like 3-cost tanks. I think Greg is a little bit awkward sometimes, but if you have like a really good 3-cost tank, there's opportunities later, right? Jarvan has 3 synergies. I can figure out the board later, right? I can play around Slayers. I can play around like if I'm playing Slayer reroll, right? Usually you play like Slayer Vanguards, right? Looks kind of like this, right? 4 Slayer, Divinicore, or otherwise you can play up to 6 Slayer, right? And then you play around Senna 3, Jarvan 3, right? This is like a decently high cap option for late game. But then also with the same type of core of a board, you can also just play like 4 Vanguard into whatever type of backline possible up until you like hit your unit, right? Or hit your final board, and then you either swap out for Braum or you swap out for this guy. So this is what I'm thinking in my head. But especially early game, when you're thinking about your early game, you just want to try and build up the synergies of your main unit and then try and streak with that unit as much as possible. Like I would much rather take items that make me stronger, especially in something like Scuttle Puddle, because if I get a bunch of gold, I won't be punished for aggressively pushing levels as hard because I won't be in poverty later in the game. But additionally, I also have the flexibility of being able to pivot later, right? If I have a lot of HP and I don't hit my board on my roll down, I have a lot of time to either hit the board later or to try and spike again later. Additionally, with this type of board, like I was saying, you can easily just streak with this. You can also streak with it into like Golden Ox. You can also streak by playing like a Golden Ox unit instead. This Graves unit is really strong right now. Then you can also play Anima Squad, and then you can kind of go into basically any line. You have a lot of opportunities around those type of openers, especially if you're playing AD, in my opinion. I think AP is a little bit harder to flex because they're a lot more specific. So looking here, see, I'm already level 5 and I'm 40 gold. I'm pretty much fine, right? I'm generating so much gold because of my Jarvan just never dying. That look at this person, right? This person that I'm looking at across from me. They're level 4, 40 gold. I'm level 5, 40 gold. So even though I'm aggressively pushing levels, like, you know, like I leveled to 5, I broke Econ a little bit, it's fine as long as you continue to streak, because I have an HP lead and I also have an insane board that can streak. And this is just a Jarvan 1, by the way. If I upgrade this guy to Jarvan 2, the game's over, right? Like, this is a Jarvan 1. I wasn't even close to dying at any point. I swapped out my Slayer for a Senna. Senna's really good now with Guinsoo. Before, she used to suck with Guinsoo. Now she's great with Guinsoo. Basically, the Guinsoo changed. She doesn't have a starting attack speed, so she didn't make use of the old Guinsoo. But with the new Guinsoo, she has so much AD, especially if you're 3-star, that she just like pumps. She just pumps damage like crazy. So she's actually a really good item holder early game. She's actually really strong like this. But I made Guinsoo. So like I said, I'm either going to be playing probably Golden Ox at this point. I want to play around Aphelios in some way. So Golden Ox or Vanguard Marksman, and a lot of it comes down to how my mid game goes. So right now, if I'm being honest, I wasn't sure how strong this Jarvan was, because I'm like, if I don't hit Jarvan 2, I'm probably not going to win out here. I'm probably going to be like, whatever, like it's probably going to be like okay. But in my head, the way that I'm thinking about it is I'm thinking to myself, if I win on stage 3, like if I continue to be strong and I keep this win streak, then I can easily convert this into a Golden Ox game. Here's the high roll, right? We hit the Jarvan 2. Jarvan 2, now I know for sure I'm probably going to be really strong. I'm not worried about utility. I'm not worried too much about item quality here. I just want to make sure that I continue to streak. So what I do, Gargoyle. Gargoyle with the Anima, with the other thing. This guy's just solo frontline demon. He has durability. He has shielding from his ability. He has damage amp from Golden Ox. He has everything. He has armor and MR. He has HP shield from Vanguard. This guy is not gonna die. pretty much nobody in the lobby, I think, will be able to kill him for much of this stage. So because I'm going to be streaking on stage 3, you know, originally when I started with this, I just wanted to have a huge gold, huge lead, huge HP lead, and then I have the potential to play a low cap board like Vanguard Marksman, and I'll bleed out to like a second or a third. That's like the idea. If you have a really high roll spot, you have to decide, do I just risk it all and go for like the first, or do I take this high roll spot and then I just bleed out to like a very comfortable top 4, call it a day, put the fries in the bag. Maybe I win, maybe I don't, but I just make sure that I don't lose too hard. So now, because I have the Jarvan 2, I know for sure that I'm going to be really strong on stage 3 as well. So I'm looking for win conditions now. I could take Slayer Circlet and just play Slayer, right? I could reroll for Senna Jarvan on level 7. But I see why spending here. I'm a big fan of these type of augments. When you make like econ augments and make it so that you have gold as well as rolls. So here they basically, before, the way Y spending used to work is you spend 2 gold, you get 2 XP, and that was considered to be too broken. So now it's that you spend 4 gold, you get 4 XP, which I know it sounds really like it's the same thing, but it just makes it so that your intervals are the same. Like you're getting XP in intervals of 4 and getting XP in intervals of 2 was kind of broken. So I hit an Aphelios as well, by the way. So this is like a really high roll type of game. I'm just going to swap in the Aphelios. I should probably play a Marksman over this unit now, over the Morgana. But basically, the way I see it is that I'm ramping up Gwynsu. I'm just slamming all my items. I'm not worried about anti-heal, not worried about Shred and Sunder, because I just want to continue to win streak. So I'm hoping that those will work out later. Jarvan himself is a really good unit because he also does a little bit of armor reduction, right? He has a little bit of an armor reduction effect, so I can actually postpone making the shred effect, right? Or sorry, the sundering effect, like reducing the armor to maximize my damage, because Jarvan has a little bit of it. So here, because I have Y spending, I'm just gonna keep rolling for Golden Ox. So long as I'm not breaking my econ intervals too aggressively. I am high rolling these Aphelios. Look, I found 2 Aphelios and a Leona already, so I'm already in an amazing spot. This is how you know that it's just going to be a first. But I'm just going to keep proccing Golden Ox. I'm going to keep rolling. And whenever you get an augment like Y spending, this is a black market augment. Basically, because you're basically gonna be rolling, and you're basically never gonna press the level up button, right? This button basically becomes disabled because you just roll. It takes the same amount of gold, except you get to see more shops. Additionally, because I get to see so many shops, that's why I really like this. It's very good and conducive to like Fast 9 and those type of strategies, because not only am I using my gold effectively to like level up and stuff, I am also seeing a lot of shops, which allows me to find a lot of upgrades and find a lot of units. So for example, I can find Leona and this Aphelios. A lot of it is because I'm seeing so many shops, right? I've already pumped like, you know, 20 shops or so, right? I've pumped like 20 gold of XP, and without pumping that, like, you know, without this augment, I don't get to see all those shops. Because I have this now, some people say it's really good with Golden Ox. I think you have to have a good Golden Ox spot for it to be good. Obviously, Golden Ox, I don't think you should necessarily play without a +1. It becomes very clumsy. But I know for sure that I'll be able to make it to like level 9 and be relatively strong with this setup. So I'm totally down to just angle myself towards Golden Ox, especially with the Aphelios pair here. And in the worst case scenario, I can just pivot out and play like a 4 Vanguard, 4 Marksman, and just try and play for the top 4. But what I was going to say before, something that's really important to note is whenever you take an augment like Y spending where you're seeing so many shops, you can see that I'm starting to hold on to a lot of these low cost units like Graves and Silas and even Jarvans. You always want to hold on to these extra units because ideally you can 3-star one of them. No matter what board I play, whether it be the Marksman board or I end up playing Golden Ox like I'm angling right now, hitting a 3-star is going to be really powerful. So a lot of times if you take Y spending, you want to be playing around a comp where the 3-star becomes really important or really powerful for that board. Things like Streak Demon are really good with Y spending. Golden Ox obviously is good with Y spending because it works out well, especially if you have a lot of tempo. But even stuff like Anima Squad, right? If I end up pivoting and playing Anima Squad later because maybe like things don't work out, who knows? Anima Squad is extremely powerful because if you 3-star any of those units, it spikes the Anima weapons as well. So something like Y spending with Anima Squad is really great because you get to push levels, upgrade your units, be strong in your mid game, which sets you up really well for like a Fast 9 kind of setup. But then at the same time, it also makes it so that you can maybe like chance up and hit a 3-star. Especially if you're going for 3-star 3 cost because you spend a lot of your gold on level 7. So for example, I'm already 6 Jarvans, right? I'm just pumping levels. I'm just gathering Jarvans as the way up. It's a little bit high roll. This game's obviously going to be a high roll. Any game where you have that's like crazy and puts you in a spot for first, it's going to be a high roll game. But especially with this board, it's kind of nuts because you could see this Jar, like I lost one fight because that guy was like a low cost reroller that like spiked their board really aggressively. This Jarvan is like Giga Tank. Pay attention to him. And a lot of it is because of Moguls Mail. This is like, I'm pretty sure the Moguls Mail is insane. And then it also gives me a lot of gold. So I am just rich beyond riches. I have so much gold to spend on literally everything. Like, look at this Jarvan. He's still alive. I'm like 20-0ing everybody that I fight. Like, it's not even close. This guy even rolled his gold. Look, he's level 720. I'm level 750. And I'm pumped EXP to level 8. Like, and a lot of this setup is just from knowing, like, this is what I was trying to say, like, if you see Shimmer Scale and you see Moguls, you just gotta take it. But here, I'm still gonna pump Golden Ox, right? I found a Xayah now, but a lot of it is because I'm seeing so many shops, right? Like, look, I'm seeing all these 5 costs as well, because I'm rolling on level 7 odds. It's Scuttle Puddle, so I'm not even getting punished, right? These craps are going to drop a bunch of gold. You might look at it and you'll be like, well, you broke 50. You're only making 40 gold now. Isn't that bad? It's like, hell no. Because these guys are going to drop a bunch of gold anyways. I'm going to be back to 50 by the end of the round. Watch. Like, I guarantee you. Oh, what's this? There's a bunch of gold for me. GG. I guess I'm at 70 gold. I have more gold than when I started rolling. That's why you always want to just pump Golden Ox. If you're playing Golden Ox in type of these setups, this is where it starts to matter because you can actually hit some really high numbers with your damage amp if you just keep rolling. So basically, as long as I have econ now, I'm just going to keep pumping, seeing shops, and upgrading units along the way. You know, I'm debating if I go for Graves 3 or not. It seems like, you know, Graves I might end up dropping at one point. But as you can see here, I'm just going to keep rolling. I'm rolling a little bit extra than Golden Ox here because I was 1 off of Jarvan. And I'm also 1 off of Aphelios, right? Like, I'm a Aphelios pair, I was 1 off Jarvan 3, and then I'm also rolling for copies of these other units before other people grab them, because sometimes they're pretty hotly contested. This guy, similar idea, right? This guy has the same board, similar board to me, except maybe not as high roll, I would say. Obviously, I high rolled because I hit the Jarvan 3, but this is the same idea, right? This guy wants to be able to level 9. It's Scuttle Puddle. He's playing around Urgot and Boombot, trying to play like 6 Boombot. Why spending? You know, it's not unlikely. Like, I'm not looking at him and saying, damn, he really high rolled. He hit an Urgot. It's like, well, it's kind of expected because you see so many shops with it. I really love augments like this where you see a lot of shops because no matter what the odds are, you decrease a lot of the variance of you not hitting your units because you don't have to spend your gold to level up and then use your gold to roll. You just can consistently see shops, and seeing those shops early rather than later, you know, compared to something like level up or just strictly econ related augments, seeing the shops early also helps you to streak in your early game and your mid game a lot better. So that's just really helpful. We found a Garen here. It's always play Garen, so you know, just, you know, get somebody off the board here, and then we're gonna roll for Golden Ox. Found Xayah too. I guess nobody's playing Marksman in this lobby or something. You know, it just is what it is. And then we're just going to roll until we hit our threshold. Now I might chill out a little bit, right? My econ's starting to get a little bit low. So I might like chill and not try and pump the levels as much anymore. But look at this. This augment's just so much fun. Like, you see so many shops. You can upgrade so much of your board, right? My board's illegal. I have Jarvan 3. Both units upgraded and a Garen that can start spreading some of the traits around. That even though I'm playing Golden Ox, right? You might think to yourself, okay, Golden Ox usually sucks unless you're playing 4 Golden Ox. It's just good. I don't know what this guy. I think this guy's playing Golden Ox. He's probably pissed at me for some reason. I don't know what happened, but my bad. It's just over for him. He has high end shopping, but that doesn't matter because you can barely even fit in the board on level 9 anyways. I don't think high end shopping Golden Ox is a good idea, but I digress. Maybe that's just the only thing you had. I'm going to start holding on to extra Aphelioses. Not to grief the other guy. I know there's another Golden Ox player that we just saw. The reason is because I see so many shops. There's a good chance I'll hit Aphelios 3 by the end of the game. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But of course, I always say this. I say this a lot when I'm playing the game. You know, you want to... what was I going to say? How do I phrase this? I don't know how to phrase it properly. But it's just like... it's fine. Whatever. I lost my chain of thought. But anyways, I'm still pumping a little bit. Just because I think I'm just going to fast 9. Oh, what I was going to say. How do I phrase it? Okay, when you're playing Golden Ox, it's really important to have 6 Golden Ox in really early. But this game is very obviously a Golden Ox game because I'm going to make it to level 9 anyways. I'm going to hit 6 Golden Ox no matter what. And I'm so strong and I have so much damage am from just pumping. And I have a Jarvan 3 that I can live long enough to find the Viego later. Right? Like I don't have Viego early, but I don't need to farm the components just yet because I'm just so far ahead. Right? I am so ridiculously far ahead in terms of my lobby, in terms of the lobby tempo that it's fine. But I don't want people to think that you can just like play Golden Ox from any spot, right? When I'm talking early and I'm talking about Golden Ox, I'm not a big believer in this comp. I play it when I think that I have a huge win out potential and I have a lot of tempo, right? Even if I started to lose every fight this stage, I'm starting stage 4 with 93 HP and I have a Jarvan 3. So I know for a fact that even if I lose rounds, I won't lose by that much. I'm going to lose by like a little bit. You know what I mean? It won't be like a crazy loss. It'll be like an okay loss. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So like I'm okay with just like playing around this comp because even if things go really, really bad for me, I'll be okay. Anyways, we found an Aurora. I'm just pumping to level 9 because at this point, it's like I'm just going to pressure the lobby and keep my win streak. And then I also just get the Aurora. Like I could have waited a turn and not do the not pump the Golden Ox just yet, but it's just like, you know, it's more so like I just want to have my units with the upgrades. I have Golden Ox mod. I don't know why I'm not putting on Xayah. I should just put on Xayah here. Of course, when you're trying to cap out your Golden Ox board, there are lots of ways to cap it out. Typically the max cap is going to be with what's it called, with Zac and Garen, right? Usually you're playing some rendition of these units as your +1s, right? I'll drum up the board so I can show you guys what I'm talking about a little bit before it gets too spicy. Leona and Xayah. Alright, so typically when you're playing Golden Ox, your board looks something like this, right? And what you're trying to do is you're usually playing 6 Golden Ox, 3 Anima, and a lot of times you have a Golden Ox +1, so you're usually able to drop one of these units. If you count the amount of units that are here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have way too many units. So a lot of times what ends up happening is you're playing around these units, and your +1 units, so the units that you're playing as extra, is going to be some rendition of Garen, what's it called? Zac and Aurora. And usually you have a Golden Ox +1, which you have on a Xayah or otherwise another unit. This is typically how you play Golden Ox. The emblem matters a lot because it becomes very hard to hit 6 Golden Ox to scale up pretty effectively unless you have a lot of tempo, similar to the game that I'm having. Garen is good if you hit him early, because if you hit Garen early enough, he will give Golden Ox to everybody. Garen is also really good if you hit him when you're ahead. If you're playing Golden Ox and you're losing every single round, the Garen doesn't matter because he's a scaling unit. It's something that's gonna, like you know what I mean? Like, if you start with the Garen, and let's say Garen doesn't give you Golden Ox mod. Let's say you low roll the Garen, and the Garen mod is like Vanguard. Or the Garen mod is like, I don't know, pick one of these other shits, right? That's not Golden Ox. Then the Garen feels a lot worse to play on your board. So you should only play Garen if you have him really early and if you're really far ahead, such that you mitigate the risk of the Garen mods not being the ones that you want. If you play Garen and you're like, oh, I hope he gives me Golden Ox in 2 turns or else I'm dead, guess what? You're going to be dead. Like, it's so unlikely. Like, it just doesn't work out. It never does. Or at least it doesn't for me. Zac has a similar situation, but Zac's win condition is a lot higher. If you can play Zac, you can scale him up with his bloblets, and then if he's at like 30, 40 bloblets and you put tank items on him and you have Zac 2, he will just 1v9, he'll just win you the game instantly. The last unit that often, sometimes, like, it fits in nicely in some boards, especially if you have a Golden Ox +1, is Aurora. And a lot of times your board will look something like this on level 8 or 9, right? And you'll just swap in one of these two, whichever one you hit. But if you don't have a Golden Ox emblem, it becomes a little bit of a cluster because you have to pick between like 1 or 2 of those units. You won't be able to play all of them, like all of the high cap units. Aurora is really good to stabilize your board early. So a lot of times I won't even play Zac or Garen because I will look at my board and I will say to myself, I'm probably going to be dead if I don't spike my board right now. Aurora not only does damage on your whole board, she also summons an extra unit on your board which can help out with the front line, and the front line helps out a lot because guess what? Aphelios is a ramping up unit, and Annie also likes to ramp up or get a lot of casts off, so both these units can work really well by having the extra front line that Aurora can summon in. So even if I don't have a Golden Ox emblem, sometimes I'll even play Aurora without actually having like Anima squad in, right? It's just because Aurora is just so useful, and she also hits like the entire board. So if you have like anti-heal or like shred or sunder, or usually like shred, she just hits everybody. This unit is so good even without synergies that she usually stabilizes your board a lot better than Garen or Zac, but Garen and Zac just scale better into late game. So that's like the little breakdown of what we're going for right here. So we don't have an emblem, so our board's gonna be a little bit of a cluster. So I'm still pumping, and I'm just going straight to 10. So I'm getting so much gold every turn. I'm probably going to lose a couple of these fights. Like, look, I'm fighting this guy who's amp cash out. I'm not strong enough to beat him just yet. Of course, like, it makes sense. Or maybe I am strong enough. We'll see. I don't think so. I think Samira's going to rail me right now. Yeah, there we go. But I'm at 6 Golden Ox, right? I hit the Viego. I'm holding on to a bunch of Aphelios. And I'm just pumping my XP, making sure that I guarantee get to level 10, and then I can fit in some other units. I don't have a Zac yet. I finally found one. So now you'll notice I'm going to try and put in the Zac. And I'm going to start scaling up the Zac because that's going to be my win condition for late game. So I'm just rolling. I have enough gold to roll. And I'm still making gold off this guy. And I'm still in a good spot with everything else. So I'm just happy to, like, you know, just keep rolling here. Get these procs. And then once I don't have enough gold to hit the Golden Ox proc, then I won't do it. Here's the other wise spending board. This is what I was saying. This guy's board's really strong. It's just that my board is just more illegal because I have a 3-star frontline unit in addition to having like all the 5 costs that I want to play. So it's just a little bit nuts. But yeah. And then you can see here, like, you know, I'm playing 6 Golden Ox. Like I said before, I don't have room for Anima, right? I'm playing 6 Golden Ox, Xayah just for marksman, and then I have the Garen that's trying to spread Golden Ox mods to as many units as possible. So we're just going with that. Because I'm 6 Golden Ox, I'm starting to cash out components, which works really well. If you'll notice, there's the augment that I took, my 3rd augment. I don't know if I mentioned it. I took Item Collector. The reason I took Item Collector is because I'm going to get so many items that I should be able to get a lot of HP and a lot of base stats. When I'm looking at my board, what do I have right now? I have a lot of damage amp. So what would help out my board? A lot of base stats, because I'm going to multiply that by the damage amp. So getting HP, getting AP and AD is going to help this board kind of really get to a high point. Here I'm like one XP away from level 10. So I'm just gonna be level 10. It's 5-5 and I'm just level 10 casually, just rolling through everything. And I'm also 2 off Aphelios, so I have Aphelios win condition. I have Zac win condition now. I'm just gonna play the Zac on the board. I could play Aurora, right? Like, you know, you could play Aurora and pull in the Zac. But Zac, I think, is just better on his own. You notice I even sell the Aurora. You might argue and say, play Aurora, don't play the Zac. I'm playing for win. I think the win condition is definitely Zac on board. Because I'm just going to try and get 100 bloblets on this guy. And then just have him 1v9 everybody anyways. And at that point, I'm going to put him in instead of the Aurora. I think I'm stable enough to just, like, you know, with 60 HP that I don't need to waste gold. You know, first play Aurora, pulling in Zac, and then when I hit Zac 2, sell the Aurora and then play the Zac. That's technically, like, the giga optimal thing to do. But, like, I just don't care enough, right? I'm 63 HP. I'm 2 off of Aphelios. And I still have infinite gold, and I'm, like, 60 damage amp here. I'm just going to play for the Zac max cap, and I'm just going to call it a day. We're 1 off of Aphelios now. I'm just going to roll my Golden Ox. I have 30 gold, right? Rolls are half, so we're good to go. Viego 2, and I'm printing items, so eventually I'm going to have 3 items everybody. Spreading some Golden Ox mods all around. And then, boom, Aphelios 3. GG. Game's over. And I'm getting Boblets just in case. Because I hit Aphelios 3, I didn't make it to my threshold of 60. So this is a little bit of wasted gold, but it's okay. The game's over. GG. It was a very high roll game. Like, I'm level 10. I just spent the whole game just pumping levels and pumping Golden Ox. But this is what happens when you start with a really good opener. A lot of what set me up for this opener was the fact that I took this Jarvan. Like, imagine if I took Slayer emblem. Imagine if I took the Dynamo emblem. Like, I would not be in this type of spot. But because I had a Jarvan and I'm just printing gold the whole game, I was just so far ahead that as soon as I hit a second econ augment, I just did double econ into fast 9, play around win condition of Zac, and then just hold on to everything along the way. Here, I didn't hit. This is what I was saying with Garen, right? Sometimes you live by Garen, you die by Garen. Sometimes you miss. I don't even think Garen has Golden Ox, by the way. I think Garen has some other shit. But this happens a lot with me. I just take Slayer mod. I just put on the Aphelios. Fuck it. Just make sure he doesn't die. Like, what if he gets stunned by Zac or something? I'll just give him some Omnivamp, like, in addition to the Gunblade, and some extra AD. But But yeah, this was like, I think this is like the dream Golden Ox game that people think of. You just like constantly just pump levels and have fun and just like win out for free. But a lot of the decisions I was making along the way, they all did stem from early game like this, right? And that's what I think, like, a lot of times people can like point out the final board and they can say this is what the final board is. But I really want to show you guys like how I think majority of the game, like everything that happened this game, I think stemmed from me having such a commanding early game from just like playing around these like tank items with Moguls and just putting myself in like an insane spot because of that. I'm gonna start making Zac items. I still don't have Zac 2, which is crazy to me, but I think it's because there's a lot of other Zac players. So I'm going to start getting some items here. I can transfer the items eventually onto the Zac once I have Zac 2. And Zac 2 is just like insurance, right? I have Aphelios 3. I should win no matter what. But just in case, like, I miss something or somebody else hits some kind of 3-star or blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. Like, just in case, I'm still going to gather Bloblets. I'm still going to crank my damage amp. And then I'm going to put items on Zac. Make sure that I don't just lose to some bullshit. I've seen a lot of clips on like YouTube shorts and stuff where people just lose because like Zac stuns somebody or Zac has like 100 Bloblets or some bullshit. So I'm just gonna make sure I have my insurance policy here. And there we go, Zac 2. So as soon as I have Zac 2, I'm gonna transfer my items over. Bang and bang. And then just put this here. Who really cares about even shot anymore? It's not that good of an item, so it is what it is. I am losing a little bit of value with the double Anima Visage, but items are items, so whatever. Like, I am item collector, so it would have been better. This is the Amp player. The Amp player usually would just win the game for free. He also had a Zac really early, so the Zac should win the game for him, but with the Aphelios 3, there's just no hope. Look at this. Just melted. Just everybody melted. And the Jarvan's still alive. Through all that, this Jarvan's still just being a beast. Still just being a demon the whole way through. But anyways, that was the game that I wanted to show you guys. I thought it was a really fun game. I like showing some of these games where they like are really like, you know, I think they're like cinematic in the way that you can enjoy just watching it, because it's just like a fun high roll game where you can just like look at it and like say like, haha, that's really silly and cool. But I try and point out like the teachable moments in it and some of the decision making along the way. And I thought this one was really good because like this was one of the openers that I talked about it on stream, right? When I was playing on stream, I said, hey, you know, if you ever have a tank item and a Moguls, right, you should just like tank item Moguls is so good for early game. Like every time I see somebody take it, they're always win streaking. Like I think they buffed the item recently. I think it's just a really good combination. And I had a good board to support this Jarvan. Jarvan's just great to play around as well, because even if you don't have the Vayne, Mundo is a 1 cost that also shares the synergies. Vanguards are really easy to come by. You can fit in really well with Dynamo, really well with Slayers, really well with like things that scale like Golden Ox. So yeah. But like I said, that was something I was talking about on stream. If you were around during my stream and now you're watching this video, this is what I was saying, right? When I was on stream and I was saying, oh man, I forgot, I need to play around Moguls. I forgot Shimmer Scale. I should grab it for Moguls. This is why. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully it was an enjoyable game, and have fun with the rest of your day. And tomorrow the dog's coming back, so look forward to that. See ya. Bye-bye.